All right. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Lincoln Clay, coming back at you with a live stream of GT Sport on PSVR. Nothing serious, just gonna put around a little bit, talk about something that's been on my mind for a few days, and that is the situation coming up with GT7 and relative to PSVR. Look at some cars while I'm doing that. So we know GT7 is coming up here pretty soon, and I'm starting to notice that some of the bigger YouTubers that stream GT Sport, they're starting to wind down a little bit. Case in point, Basic Ali said he's pretty much done with GT Sport streams and videos, and he will resume the Gran Turismo franchise once GT7 comes out. In the meantime, he's been streaming iRacing, so other YouTubers have been calling it the countdown to GT7. So this isn't a countdown to GT7 for me. Truth be told, while I'm excited for GT7 to come out, the real excitement will come once it gets the VR support. So in the meantime, you could probably make a case that I'm probably slightly more excited about ACC getting the next gen patch. So but want to talk a little bit about again VR support for GT7. As the title says, support for GT7 on PSVR 2, I think is going to be a given. I think we've seen some Easter eggs on a few videos that indicate that it will have VR support. Not to mention that Polyphony Digital has been quoted as saying that improving VR was one of the priorities on GT7. So I've already covered that before. We know it's going to get VR support. But what about the PS4? Not only the VR support, I think I've also questioned about whether the two consoles will be separated or will they integrate the two consoles. I think GT Sport runs at about 60 frames per second on both PS4 and PS4 Pro, so I have no reason to believe that GT7 won't run at 60 frames per second on PS4 and PS4 Pro. It just probably won't look as good as PS5, but it's still curious to see whether they would separate the communities. Flat screen, they might keep the communities together, but I think as far as VR goes, I think there's no way around it. They have to separate the communities. But if the PS4 version even gets VR support to begin with, there's been no mention of VR on the PS5 version of GT7 or the PS4 version. And truth be told, I don't think that the PS4 version will get VR support at launch, if it even gets it at all, because I think, for one thing, that if the PS4 were to get VR support for GT7 at launch, to me it would send a destructive message to the community, and I think it would make PSVR 2 dead on arrival, because if GT7 gets VR support on PS4, my guess is that it would be bound to the same limitations as the current PSVR right here on GT Sport, where it's either time trials or 101 versus stupid AI. And I have no reason to believe that the VR would be improved on GT7 on PS4, assuming that it gets VR support, because I think, it sounds to me like they've probably developed a more demanding game that might tax the hardware a little bit more. So I don't see where they would have the resources to put an improved VR element in the game if it even gets VR support. So that being said, not only that, but from a marketing standpoint, it would be a disastrous move in my opinion if they were to have VR support for PS4 GT7 day one, because you would send a message to people that they don't need PSVR 2. And some people would in turn just go ahead and play GT7 on the current PSVR. And when they see the limitations of the current PSVR, I think it would leave a bad taste in their mouth, and they would be led to believe that this is how PSVR 2 is going to be. So there's no point in me buying PSVR 2. That being said, I do not think for 1 minute that GT7 on PS4 will have day one VR support. I think what could possibly happen is after PSVR 2 launches on GT7, maybe a few months after that, they'll give the PS4 version VR support. But even if they do, I can't see where the two would be integrated, because I think it's a given that GT7 on PSVR 2 is going to have a full VR multiplayer, as well as the ability to race against a full grid. And not only that, you have the Sophie, the AI, the learning AI, which I think is pretty neat. I never really took the time to think about that. I think with a lot of these racing games, I think the AI is patternistic. I think the developers set whether it races at a novice level, intermediate, or a pro level. So a learning AI, that's going to be pretty cool. And so that's especially going to be fun for PSVR 2 to play GT Sport. Even in a single player game, it'll feel like I'm racing against humans. So I think that's going to be pretty slick. So I think I babbled a little bit. I think I'm about ready to go ahead and jump into some Great Tantrum. I think they're porting over your driving records to GT7 is a smart move. There's been mixed feelings about that Great Tantrum. There's some of the bigger YouTubers like the Key. He doesn't agree with it. I think Z28 Gaming doesn't agree with it. I think Basic Ali doesn't agree with it. I think a guy named Carrot Cart or something like that, I can't quite remember the name. I think he's the only one that agrees with it. Me, whether I care that they do that or not, all depends on if they make you take the license all over again, because I don't really, that's cool that you can obtain a license and stuff like that, but I don't want to go through these driving exercises again to try to obtain a license so I can jump into an online match. I mean, it's good if you don't want to be in a room with random drivers. You can still find experienced drivers based on your skill set. Yeah, I mean, from the multiplayer standpoint, I guess me overall, I really don't have a problem with it. That's not to say that I agree with it or disagree with it. I just simply don't have a problem with it. The only thing that I'm stressing is that day one, when this game launches, I want to jump straight into it and jump straight into a race. I don't want a situation. I don't want a situation where I can't jump into an online race because I have to, go through all these exercises to get a license again. I don't want to go through that again. Other than that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. So, but I'm planning on taking that. I'm planning on taking that day off. I've already put in to have that day off. So if I get that day off, Thursday at midnight when the game unlocks, I will be streaming it, and it will probably be an all-day affair until later on that evening when we get to ACC with Ham and the rest of the boys. So, I think we're drifting. let's go ahead and putt around a little bit. If you guys got something you want to add, feel free. Okay. It was going through its normal rigmarole. I like Dragon Tail, but not a real life track. So I want to race on real life tracks. I kind of want to, kind of remain sharp. Spa, Monza. Do they have a Silverstone here? So how many tracks do they have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suzuka? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Big Cloud, what's up, my guy? So it looks like we got about 24 tracks. I think GT7 is going to have about 39 tracks and I think about 90 layouts. So let's go to Suzuka. So yeah, I want to definitely reiterate that if see, afternoon, cloudy, dawn, clear. We can go with that one. And naturally, I want to drive a GT3 car. Although I do like that Ray Brig. The McLaren GT3 car. That's an old one. That's a 2015. Damn, that Ferrari is 2013. That shit. Oh, damn, they got some. This is a good game, but damn, some of these cars is old. Even the updated ones is old. I mean, look at this production Ford GT. This is a 2017. I think it might be the newest car I see on here. I think this is Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes. That's a 2017. Okay, 2019 here. What car am I going to use? Go to search year and model. You know what? Let's go with the Huracan Lamborghini. I say that because I want to compare how this Lamborghini sounds to the Lamborghini on ACC. I wonder if GT7 is also going to have the M4 GT3, the BMW. GT7 will have PSVR support. It's a given. You know, they haven't officially said anything, but it's a given. I've seen. One second. Because that's kind of loud. Front tires. We got to get these super softs. Traction control on 3. force feedback. Oh. Okay. Hell, let's turn that force feedback all the way up. All right. GT7 will have, what in the hell? Oh, I know what the hell's going on. There we go. Yeah, it's a given that GT7 is going to have PSVR support, because in a couple of the gameplay videos, I saw what were Easter eggs that showed something that was similar to VR, as in like somebody slowly looking in their head like this. And not only that, Polyphony Digital had been quoted as saying that improving the VR was one of their priorities. So it's going to have VR support. It's just not going to have it day one. It's not going to happen until later on in the year. So that's the one thing I don't want to do, is spread misinformation. It's not going to have VR support day one. It'll here, let me come back a little bit. Actually, I guess I could leave it there. That dashboard look high though. Damn. That dynamic weather, that's going to be pretty cool. But I hate to be a Debbie Downer and say that I'm not impressed with it, because ACC, I believe, already has dynamic weather, and then the console versions coming up, the next gen patch is going to have dynamic weather on PS5 and Series X. What people are about to experience, what people are going to experience with GT7 and the dynamic weather is what we are already experiencing right now on ACC. When you have dynamic weather on ACC, you're going to have a situation where 1 minute you could be racing in a thunderstorm, and then because these tracks are laser scanned, right down, GT players will love it though. They will, because a lot of them, this will be their first time experiencing dynamic weather. So yeah, they're going to fall in love with it. The hardcore ones will fall in love with it. And coming back to ACC in the dynamic weather, these tracks are laser scanned, so they're accurate right down to the pebble on the road. So parts of the track that have channels in them are going to be more prone to have puddles in them, and that's where you're most likely to lose grip. And then as the track dries up, where those puddles are at, it can only be dry on one part and wet on the other. Yeah, because it could be an isolated shower. That's all part of dynamic weather. And then as the track starts to dry up, the areas that were more prone to have puddles are going to be the last spots on the track to dry up. So you're going to have to be mindful of those parts of the track. So, but that's going to be a good question for GT7. Will these real life tracks be laser scanned? Because I can tell you right now, some of these tracks on GT Sport don't look the same as they do on a set of Corsa Competizione. I mean, some of these tracks on GT Sport look older. I'm not saying that to bash them. Oh, oh shit. Nürburgring is gonna be a monster with that weather. You know, it's funny that you bring up that dynamic weather, because that makes me think, yes, the Red Bull circuit will have rain, yes. You know, I just thought about something else. You know, let me see, can I stand up out of this car? Nope, it won't let you stand up. Because if you move out of the view of the camera, everything turns black. I wonder, now being honest, and this is not trying to slight them, but one of the reasons why I don't take GT Sport near as serious as I take ACC is because this is a simcade. This game has all the intricacies of a hardcore sim, but the mechanics are such, the gameplay and the mechanics are such that just about anybody can play it. Because I don't think they want, you know, because they're trying to, the casuals are going to be the biggest bulk of the user base on this game. There's no way around it. I mean, when I first played ACC, I did not like it. How I play GT Sport right now, DualShock. I'm on a Thrustmaster T150 right now. I'm in my bedroom on my PS4 Pro. My PS5 is out in the living room, but I don't have GT Sport. Well, ACC is GT3, yeah, Sim Focus, yeah. I don't have GT Sport downloaded on my PS5. Because I need the space on my PS5, because GT Sports is about 100 gigs. Now, as I was about to say about ACC, I did not like it when I first played it because I thought the shit was too integral. I thought the shit was like overkill as far as the realism goes. And the biggest reason why games with mini cars will tend to be less accurate. That's a tough one to argue, but I think if you're talking about accuracy in terms of the tracks, you know, the laser scans and stuff like that, you know, I'm not going to argue that because I can't prove myself right or prove you wrong. But I don't think these tracks on GT Sport are laser scanned. I do know that they're laser scanned on ACC and Automobilista too. So what I'm saying is I don't think you can compare ACT to GT. Yes, you would be right. It would be comparing apples to oranges. Both AC are great in their own right. So I guess what happened to me was when I started playing ACC, I still had games like GT Sport and Project Cars 2, you know, burned into my head. And GT Sport is a simcade, and you could almost call Project Cars 2 a simcade. And when I got over to ACC, I didn't care for it, but I was going to return it. Depends on what you want in the racer. Yeah. So I was actually going to return the game. And then I thought to myself, I'm not a quitter. If you call yourself being a racer, you're going to have to learn this game. And I still love Project Cars 2, by the way. I do too. Because for one thing, it's the only game, up until I got iRacing, it was the only game that had the car and the track that I want. You know, it's got Circuit de la Sarthe, and it's got the Ford GT that won Le Mans back in 2017. So anyway, so I started getting used to ACC, and I love the realism. Well, I never raced in my life, but ACC feels much more realistic than GT Sport or Project Cars. So I ended up falling in love with ACC to the point where you guys seen all the money I spent on that equipment, on the sim rig, the wheelbase, the pedals, all that stuff. I spent about $3,700 on my sim racing equipment. So GT7 is going to be a simcade as well. But what I'm wondering is, will you be able to separate the casuals from the hardcore? Because what I would like to be able to do is be able to adjust the settings. Like, okay, like you got your beginner, intermediate, pro, expert, all that stuff. You know, and if you turn it all the way up to expert, then you would have a true sim like an ACC. Because GT7 has got all the intricacies of a hardcore sim. The dynamic weather, 60 frames per second. You know, the beautiful HDR and ray tracing that the game is going to have. All the cars that it's going to have. The tracks, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's going to have all the intricacies of a hardcore sim, but I know it's also going to have the mechanics and gameplay that's going to cater to the casuals. But can you set the level? Can you go beginner so you can get the driveline assist, intermediate, pro, expert, and if you go all the way to expert, it's flat out hardcore sim. No, you know, no simcade shit. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. But I mean, I'm still going to spend a lot of time on GT Sport, especially when the VR comes out. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to adjust this. Is this GT7? No, it's not. And I think I'm dealing with some drift. That's too high. All right, I think I can work with that. Now, what I'm basically doing is I'm just putting around the GT Sport in VR and just giving my thoughts on some of the things that I was concerned about on GT7 relative to the VR support. So, in simple terms, this is my way of having a podcast. You know, a couple years ago, I used to sit behind the computer and, you know, have podcasts and talk about various subjects. But now, you know, when I sort of have a podcast, whatever subject I want to talk about, I kind of play that game to set the mood. Oh, okay. I've never. Yeah. I'm racing in VR. I'm playing in VR right now, and I'll tell you right now, if you are a true lover of racing games, VR, in my opinion, is the best way to play a racing game because you actually sitting inside the car, and to me, it's nothing like it. You know, there are some YouTubers out there that's tried VR, and some of them opt for the triple screens. I don't think the triple screens, I've never tried it before, but I don't think it's bad from some of the videos that I've seen. I would just rather do it in VR because I'm actually sitting inside the car. Triple screens give you, in my opinion, like a 180-degree field of view. I haven't visited the good old Circuit de la Sarthe. So let's go ahead and jump in that Toyota and visit good old Circuit de la Sarthe. And we are going to jump in the dominant Toyota TS050. That new Toyota hybrid car, that car is so slick. I think it's the TS or I think it's the GR050. That's a slick looking car, and it's dominating, picking up where this car left off. Now, what I was saying about the field of view, with triple monitors, I'd imagine you have a 180-degree field of view, whereas in VR you have a 360-degree field of view. You know, you can, inside the car, you can turn all the way around and see shit in the back of the car. And this is too high, though. I don't think GT Sport is laser scan. But GT Sport is used by many racing Olympians. Yeah? I mean, Sony got the pockets to make it happen, though. As for GT7, it seems laser scans maps there. They might be. I just don't think the tracks on this game were laser scanned. Oh shit, I was too busy watching. I'll tell you in a second. Let me pull over. You're gonna laugh at me, but don't laugh. How does GT Sport feel to you now? After GT Sport now, the way it feels to me now, it feels like a game that I just play when I want to go out for a Sunday drive. It's not a game that I don't. I just it. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's much better. How does it's just not a game that I don't take seriously anymore. It's a game that I play when I feel like cruising, and I still love playing this game in VR. The big thing is two things. I would play this game more if the VR for GT Sport allowed you to race against a full grid. You know, even if they didn't have the multiplayer, you know, still, if I could still race against a full grid, I would play it more. But they got this 101 against the AI, and the AI is basically a first grader, and that's the big part that bothers me. They should give you the option to set the level of the AI difficulty when you race against the AI in VR. I think that's something that they just did so they don't discourage the casuals, because I don't, you know, I think maybe Polyphony and Sony was worried about the AI kicking their ass and they would get discouraged and never want to touch VR again. But if they set it to this first grade level, people can beat the AI easy, or even a blind man can beat the AI and feel some sense of accomplishment. I think that's what they were setting out to do. I don't know. So all those elements, because of that, I just don't take GT Sports seriously anymore. Now, to answer that question about what wheelbase I'm on, I am on a Thrustmaster T150 that is attached to a coffee table, and I am sitting in a lawn chair. So before you laugh at that, I am also on my PS4 Pro in my bedroom. Out in my living room, I have $3,700 worth of sim racing equipment. I have a GT Omega sim rig, a GT Omega Prime sim rig. I have the Fanatec Podium DD1 wheelbase, which produces 20 newton meters of torque versus the 2 newton meters of torque that I'm getting out of this Thrustmaster. I have the Fanatec McLaren GT3 wheel, the Fanatec Club Sport V3 pedals, and then I have my racing shoes, 2 pairs of Puma Motorsports, 2 pairs of Puma Red Bull Motorsport shoes. So the reason why I had to hang on to my Thrustmaster was because up until recently, my Thrustmaster was the only wheel that I had that would work on these PlayStations, because they are licensed for the PlayStations. My Fanatec DD1 is not licensed for the PlayStation, but I recently bought the drive hub adapter, and it does work. So now I can use hey, got a split. See you around. Thanks for popping in, Tantrum. So now I can use my my Podium DD1 and all my real racing equipment on the PS5. I can't use it on the PS4 because I'm sitting in the bedroom and my rig won't fit in the bedroom. And the reason why I don't have GT Sport downloaded on my PS5 is because I'm trying to conserve space, because GT Sport takes up about 100 gigs worth of space, and I don't see any point in downloading that game on my PS5 because, 1, it will take up space, 2, I got to watch my data cap, and 3, this game is going to be, you know, put out the pasture here in a couple of weeks. I will say this. I will say this about PlayStation VR, GT Sport. I'm not laughing. I just have the PS branded PS3, PS4 wheel. Okay, I'll say this about PlayStation VR. I dare say that as far as VR goes, these cars, in sitting inside the car, these cars look real. It's just that the picture's not sharp because, for one thing, I'm on a 1080p headset. I mean, sitting inside the cars on ACC in VR, they look real, but I think these ones might look a little bit more real. I mean, it looks like a real car on the inside. It's just that it's not a clear, it's not a sharp picture. The background, it has a slight blur to it. Inside the car, you got to get up real close to see stuff sharp. But um, I probably dare go out on a limb and say that the cars sitting inside the cars in PSVR probably look a little more real. This just the pictures aren't as sharp. The picture that I'm seeing through this headset isn't as sharp as on PC. Oh, and that's the other bad thing about PlayStation VR. The distance is blurry. It's uh it's blurry, it's jagged, and that's why you see all these blue markers all over the place so you know where the turns are at. Because if these blue markers weren't here, you would fly straight off the track because this is not a very sharp picture in the distance. Inside this car is good enough. It's doable. But out in the distance, like that building straight ahead, is blurry and it's jaggy. I would say, as far as VR goes, sim racing and VR, Automobile Lister 2 is undoubtedly the best looking VR sim racer. It 100%. I would probably say maybe Project Cars 2 comes second. Um, I have to be honest in saying that ACC isn't the best looking out of these, but I love the game so much that I'm willing to overlook that it's not all that well optimized for VR. All right, I think I will do one more and then head on out of here because, again, the more or less the purpose of this was to just give my thoughts on the situation with GT7 and VR. Let's go Norwich Life. Daytime cloudy. Let's go with this. Um, hmm. 1,450 horsepower. 1600. You know, I haven't done this in a while, so let's do that. This Formula One car right here, it has tremendous acceleration, but it doesn't have the kind of top end that I thought it would. But then again, I don't think there's too many tracks where the Formula One cars can stretch its legs all the way out. I think this Formula One car, I can't remember. I think it might top out at 205 miles an hour, something like that. Yeah, we're on super softs. That car started out kicking my ass. He slowed down on purpose. That's part of the AI that I was talking about. What's up, Gamecast? Whoa, shit! I like that detail though, how that smoke came up, how the dust came off of the AI as he was passing me. Next carousel. So I'm pushing 202 miles an hour right now. That's it. That's as fast as I can get it. All right. That was fun. (911) GT3. And that is another thing I want to forewarn everybody about when GT7 comes out. Even this game right here. You pretty much will not see me racing production cars. I mean, I'd rather race the race cars. With production cars, it's, at least with these racing games, is totally different than driving the actual race car. You have to brake much sooner. There's much more body roll and weight transfer. So yeah, I just don't. Maybe with this game, when I'm just putting around, yeah. But when GT7 comes out and I'm trying to get into a serious race, I'll more than likely be using one of the race cars, the GT3s, Group 2s, Group 1s, LMP cars, whatever. So I more than likely will not be using the production cars, and I think that's another reason why the Gran Turismo franchise has stood the test of time, is because people want to drive the production cars, versus the race cars. Let me see here. Let me see if I can go to a look at one of my replays for old time's sakes. Tokyo Expressway Loop. The Sauber. We want the Sauber Mercedes 787. That's the Mazda. That car's got a unique sound. Hopefully it won't play any music. If it plays any music, I gotta stop it. I don't want to catch a copyright claim. And damn, that takes a while to load. That's a good thing about the PS5 and PC. And I'm in the 787. And I gave him a head start on purpose. I will give Polyphony Digital credit. They did an excellent job of capturing this car. The motor and all that stuff, they did a tremendous job with this car. I hope they do add this car back in the GT7. A little bit of history about this car too. One second. Let me go ahead and exit out of this. You said that they already put out a detailed list of the 400 cars GT7 is going to launch with. If there's a list out there, I have not checked it out. But they have the one car that I wanted them to add. They added the one car, and that was the Ford GT that won the 2017 Le Mans. They have the 2017 Ford GT production car. They do not have the actual GT car. They're adding it for GT7. That was the one thing that I wanted. Because like the 24 hours of Le Mans is my favorite race, and this track, Circuit de la Sarthe, is one of my favorite tracks. And that was one of the reasons why I bought Project Cars, because it came standard with the Ford GT, and I definitely enjoyed, if you go back and check out if you go back through my library, I got a ton of videos, but if you search my Project Cars 2 streams, most of the cars that I was using was the Ford GT on this track, Circuit de la Sarthe. And sitting in that Ford GT in VR was incredible. And that's what this is all about for me with GT7, is being able to race on this track in Circuit de la Sarthe, and all these cars, these retro Le Mans cars, the 787B, the Sauber Mercedes, the Toyota GR 050, assuming that they have that car. I don't know if they're going to have that car. That's the brand new hybrid car that Toyota came out with a year or two ago. I would like to think that they're going to have that car with over 400 cars, and they still plan to add some. I think they want to make this the best GT game ever. So I'd imagine that they're probably going to listen to feedback from the community. And if there's a particular car that they want, depending on how loud the cries are for that car, I'd like to think that they might go get it. Because adding the Ford GT that won the Le Mans of 2017, I think that was Polyphony Digital and Sony listening to the community. I think somebody probably said, we want that car, and they went and got it. So hats off to them. So other than that, I really don't know the list of cars, but with 400 cars, it's going to be something for everybody. Now a little bit of history about this Mazda 787B. This car won Le Mans, and then after they won Le Mans, they were banned from Le Mans for whatever reason. I tried to do some research and couldn't come up with a logical explanation. Nobody seems to want to talk about it. All I know is that they got banned from Le Mans, and I think they were just like admitted back into Le Mans like last year or the year before, or something like that. But who knows if Mazda has any interest in coming back to Le Mans after being banned. They might have a bitter taste in their mouth. Now, from what I understand, this car that won Le Mans, it was not the fastest car on the track. It was the one that didn't break down. That's why they won. Because when I watch these 24 hours of Le Mans races, it's like almost every car, it seems at least once, has to go into the garage and they wheel the car back into the garage, tear the car apart, put new rotors on the car, all kinds of shit. So, but yeah, I think this 787B, the reason why it won Le Mans is because it was the car that didn't break down. So, and again, they got banned. I don't know why, but I would love to see them make a return to Le Mans. I think Ferrari is about to enter a hypercar in Le Mans, probably to compete with the Toyota GR 050 or 030, whichever car it is, but it's the hybrid. So you're probably right. Though updates, everyone will probably be happy eventually. Though, oh, no doubt. I mean, they already said they're going to add to the game. So, some people are using the games as a service mantra for this game for GT7. I don't like to call it a games as a service if it already comes with a ton of content. I like to look at it as a full game that they're going to add to, and to me, I feel like a games as a service games is, they got bare bones shit. It starts out bare bones and they're going to add content to it as time goes on. To me, content that they were withholding that should have been in the game from the start. So, but yeah, with over 400 cars, 39 tracks with over 90 layouts, I don't really view that as a games as a service. I view that as a full blown game that's going to have added content. So, with that, I think I've gone on long enough. I haven't taken a nap yet. I haven't eaten anything yet. So I don't want to commit and say that I'll be back and do another stream of ACC or something like that, and then I end up falling asleep. But I will say that I'm going to shoot for doing a stream tomorrow or Thursday. And if it comes down to it, if I don't do a stream the rest of the week, I will definitely be back in action on ACC Friday with Ham and the boys. But now that I stop and think about that, I haven't done my Low Fuel Motorsports daily race yet this week. So there's another stream that we're looking at, because I meant to do it Sunday after I dropped my son off. But once I got home, I fell asleep and that was a wrap. So I didn't get to my Sunday race for the Low Fuel Motorsports. I got to make that race up. That being said, I guess look for me to do that. Thanks for your insight. You got a new subscriber out of me. Hey, I really appreciate it. And you know what? While we're at it, I really, really appreciate the support that I get on this channel. I've said this over and over again. Even when I had 300 subs, I was very, very appreciative. And I like the way things are. I mean, who wouldn't want to have 50,000 subs and that kind of stuff? But I like things the way they are because I can interact. I have a good amount of subs. I think I'm closing in on 1,100 subs. But the channel is still small enough that I can interact with everybody. I think I'm an approachable person. And, for the most part, I believe that I'm easy to get along with. If there's a situation where, in most cases, because my channel's small enough that I can respond to everybody, if you come across a situation where I don't respond to someone's comment, I missed it, or in some cases on PC, sometimes I have technical problems where the comments don't come through, and then I have to go through my PC and sort it all out and that kind of stuff. But for the most part, if I see your comment, I'll respond to it, and I don't deal with trolls. I bounce them right out of here. Trolls and bots, they gotta go. Even though I haven't had to bounce a troll out of here in a long time, but bots, they pop in all the time. So um so yeah, thanks for tuning in. Lomain Laces, I'm sorry. Definitely, if you're new to the channel, definitely make sure you tune in, because when I race from the PC, I have the camera turned on and you can see the sim racing equipment that I'm working with. Or you could just, simply go through my library and just check out some of the ACC streams that I've done, and you'll see the equipment that I'm using. Like I said, $3,700 worth of equipment that I have, and racing in VR, just absolutely love it. So definitely check it out. And definitely, if you want to check out what kind of equipment I'm using, definitely check out the descriptions, because I have all my sim racing setup hardware listed in the description, as well as my PC, because I just built a new PC about a month ago. One Speed, great content. Her new car fan here. Love cars and car gaming. Yeah. Um, I've been fascinated with cars ever since I was a kid. So I've said that before many, many times. To be able to race in VR is like the closest thing to a dream coming true. Because what are the chances that I'm going to actually get to sit in a race car? As far as that goes, what is uh, even though I'm Floyd Mayweather's first cousin, I've only sat in only like two of his cars. I think I sat in his Rolls Royce Phantom before, and I got a close up of one of his Ferraris. But other than that, no. I mean, that's the closest I've ever came to sitting in an exotic car and shit like that. So I got VR. So yeah, I've been on for a little over an hour. I didn't do much, really didn't do much racing. Just like I said, this was more or less a podcast of me giving my thoughts. And all I did by launching GT Sport, this just puts us in the mood. But definitely tune in. Now that I stop and think about it, I absolutely will do a stream here in the next day or two, because I got to get my low fuel motorsports daily race in. So definitely make sure you tune into that. I think this week, I'm not sure what the track is this week. I know Sunday it was Imola, but I have to check to see what the track is this week. So definitely make sure you tune in to my next stream to catch me on Low Fuel Motorsports, where I'll be streaming a set of Corsa Competizione. Also, before I go, because I keep saying I'm going to get out of here, but because we got a couple of new subs here. The 22nd of February, a set of Corsa Competizione will be getting the next gen patch for PS5 and Series X. You guys heard me talk about that numerous times ad nauseum. 30 cars rendered, dynamic weather, 60 frames per second. That will put the next gen consoles on par with PC. I am very, very, very excited about it. That's one of the reasons why I went off and bought the Drive Hub adapter, so I can use my equipment on the PS5. I will definitely be streaming that on the 22nd once that goes live. Also, March 4th, when GT7 launches, I have put in a vacation day to take that day off. So look for me to stream that at midnight Eastern time the minute the game unlocks. So now that I filled everybody in on upcoming events, again, make sure you tune in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notified when I go live. And I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and boogie on out of here. And you guys know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king. And deuces. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you soon.